First of all, I'd like to send solidarity greetings from UCU London region and also from my own college where I work in City Islington, greetings to this fantastic conference today. And I also would like, on behalf of UCU, to send a really heartfelt condolences to Julie Waterson and a friend and a family we heard earlier today who passed away. Not only because of her fantastic activism and inspiration for us within the union, but also to her students. She was absolutely loved by her students, and they will miss her very, very much. She brought her creativity and dynamism and energy and imagination, as those who knew her can imagine the kind of lessons she did, and they will really miss her. So I'd like to also say that on behalf of the students as well. I want to follow on really from this. I mean, I take everything we've just been talking about. The Tory government and the coalition government clearly are on a historic mission to smash, to wreck the welfare state and to make ordinary working people pay for a crisis not of their making. I know it's a slogan, but we should keep saying it and saying it and saying it. But we're not alone. Millions of people understand that message and what it means for us. And we need to rehearse it. We need to go through it. There's certain issues. I mean, the issue of benefit cheats, they seem to be winning the argument sometimes. I know in my workplace, sometimes people fall for these arguments. So we have got a work to do, a job to do to convince ordinary working people that the divide and rule tactics, and that's all they know, is divide and rule, is something which is against our interest. So I'll take that for granted, and I don't want to take too much time going on about that. What I want to spend my time really about is we're trying to get to open a discussion, debate, which hopefully we will continue to do from the floor, about this. And it gets asked in my workplace. I mean, I was at a fantastic conference last weekend called Historical Materialism Conference. Over 800, mainly young people, come to debate and discuss theoretical, practical issues of how we go forward. And what, if you like, summed up the debate was, why haven't we in Britain broken through? Why are we still in a situation? 2008, we saw a system collapse in front of our eyes. And not just a few left-wingers who have always gone about people before profit and so on and so forth. It was millions of people who were exposed to them. How come, 5 or so years on, that system not only still intact, but they're still ripping us off? They're still pushing through the privatised agenda and so on. And it's that, I think, we need to address. Because I think sometimes, amongst ourselves, particularly amongst ourselves, who are actively involved in trying to build the movement, to pull together, to get as many people onto the streets as possible, and so on, we can sometimes getting frustrated and find ourselves getting a bit demoralised about what the potential is. And I think, just to echo all the points that were being made, I don't believe there's anything fundamentally different to Britain and British workers than they are the southern workers. If a general strike is out, it can happen in southern Europe, it can certainly happen in this country as well. So how hasn't it, and how do we go forward to ensure that we can do so? Clearly, when you think back, and people have mentioned it already, to the November the 30th, the kind of action that was taken then, it gave a glimpse of what the significance of that was. I mean, I work in the further education sector. I've been on strike, I've been working for 13 years in the further education sector, something like 14 times I've been on strike. And if you didn't work in the further education sector, that is the norm, being honest with you. There's so many strikes. But the vast majority of those strikes, nobody knew that we were on strike. And most of them were relatively successful. We squeezed a bit here, we squeezed a bit there, nothing to earth-shaking. But it made some sort of difference. But November the 30th was different. When we took strike on November the 30th and June the 30th, it wasn't just us on the picket line. We had pensioners on the picket line, we had the unemployed on the picket line, we had students on the picket line, we had activists from local community campaigns, the local anti-cuts group. All of a sudden you've got a glimpse of what kind of mass movement could look like, where you had all of society united around organised labour fighting defence not only of the pensions, but also of the society and defence of the welfare state as a whole. I think that model is where we need and can actually get back to. We know that the December the 19th was the day in which those union leaders, particularly the heads of Unison and GB, sold the pass on the question, sold out on the question of pensions. And since then, we've been trying to fight to get those systems back up again. But I think I should say this first of all. I think it's been echoed. Just because it's not a national movement, we saw it again with 200,000 on the DTUC demonstration not going away. But also we see that actually there's lots of different demonstrations today. When you go to different of the workshops, you find that there's all sorts of campaigns over the NHS, over the welfare, over disability. There's lots and lots of different campaigns. The real problem is it's not nationally coordinated. That's, I think, our goal. Is how do we make sure that we build a nationally coordinated campaign which can link all those different actions together. I mean, I was at the TUC conference where, and I'll finish on this chair, where the TUC passed that motion. It was quite amazing to watch it. It was the POA put this motion for. There was a debate, there was a discussion, and there's an argument about it, and people disagree. I mean, one of the arguments against it, there's a guy got up from the General Secretaries of the Oslo, got up and opposed it on the basis that we have tried it before. We did it in 1926, it didn't work, and therefore we shouldn't happen again. This was a part of an argument, not the strongest argument, but it was an argument. Then there's another argument which said, well, we can't really do this because if we do it, we pass this motion, then the Tories will use it as a stick to beat us with. Well, they're taking a crowbar to us, as one delegate said at the conference, I finished now. So I think really, therefore, clearly, when that motion was passed by 4-1, it gives us an ability. How do we make sure that in every workplace we're discussing that, and getting that debate taking place? A general strike won't happen just like that. We've got those strikes off the ground because the minority of unions decided to take the action first. So when we talk about building from below, absolutely. But when I see general secretaries of the TC turn up to demonstration after demonstration, talk about action in support of others, it is completely not on to not talk about how we ourselves take action. If every time they call the lead, our members respond fantastically, time and time again. It's not the competence of our members the problem, it's the question of leadership. And that's what United Resistance is about, and that's what we've got to go for today. How we build confidence and make sure our union leaders put the action which will determine our futures. Thank you.